Hey, what's up, y'all? You know, you got to really know how to maneuver in this world. And the more I observe, the more I realize that I heard someone say that they are an introvert that extroverts well. And I've never heard it put that way. It's very interesting. And that is that is very true. And I tell my son that, and that's something that I have to tell myself because I'm more introverted. I've never been extroverted. I've never been a socialite, you know, person that just always out on the scene or popular in school or any of those things. But the more I think about it and the more I observe and getting a better understanding in how the world works, how people think, you really have to figure out how to make noise in this loud, distracted world if you're going to do anything. You know, it's something that is not taught in school. We don't know these things, but this is just a society that does not praise introverts. It doesn't praise the quiet. It doesn't praise the humble or the meek. You really got to get out here and kind of make your mark in your own way, you know, and that's really the only way. You got to be able to get some type of attention, and that's challenging for people who are more on the quiet, reserved side. It really is, when you're not an attention seeker. And not all attention is bad. There is a such thing as good attention, you know. But if you're going to do anything, you got to be able to stand out with whatever it is that you're doing. You're going to have to be exceptional. You're going to have to be, above average. You're going to have to be willing to do things that most people are not willing to do in a way that they're not willing to do it, because it's just so many people out here, and you're never the only person doing what it is that you're doing or whatever it is that you're trying to do. You're never the only one. There are so many more people, trying to do, trying to carve out their own, lane and do things in their own way and be successful at it. And with anything, you have to stand out. And that's something that, I heard a coach say. I took my son to a college basketball camp. It was a 1-day camp on a Sunday over the summer. And it was the head coach was there. And sometimes with these camps, the head coaches aren't always there. The assistant coach or the associate coach is there kind of looking at people. For the most part, they already know who they want. They've already, have players that are signed or whatever for the upcoming season. But it's a chance for them to get to see some under the radar people that they don't, that they weren't recruiting. And my son and his teammates that he played AAU with, we went up there, and it was pretty much 5-on-5. It wasn't drills or much like that from what I can remember. And the pep talk that the head coach gave at the end was that, when you do these things, you got to stand out, because there's so many players, there's so much talent. And in order to catch the eye of coaches, you got to stand out. You got to do something. And that really stuck with me. And that's just with anything in life. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to stand out, because it's just, it's saturated, it's congested. Everyone's distracted. Everyone's, on their own thing, on their own time. And it just takes a lot in order to get and keep people's attention. It's tough. With social media is kind of the blame for that, with, all this access, and, you just scroll. You done scroll so much, and you've seen so many, reels or shorts or TikToks or whatever. You forgot that just the TikTok before the one, you just watched. You forget that quick, and that's just how fast things are moving. That's just how inundated we are with information and just, and entertainment and content. It's just all of this stuff. And in order to break through, you got to be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing, and you got to be great at what you're doing, and you got to stand out. And that's really the only way. If you're quiet and more on the reserve side, as they say, closed mouths don't get fed. And that is so true. You hate to hear it because, as introverts, it zaps our energy. And in our minds, it's doing that. Whatever it takes to get attention, it takes too much energy. It's exhausting for us because that's not where we get, our energy from. It comes from within. With extroverts, it's outside. So it's the external, that hypes them up, that gives them that juice. So, it's so much going on, with layoffs. Starbucks, I just saw yesterday, Starbucks is laying off 1,100 employees and shortening their menu. And then, of course, with, the government and federal employees, and that means that there's more people in the workforce, and I believe that's more people that are going to take, possibly to gig jobs, like Uber, like DoorDash, like Instacart, so that they can make some money, to support themselves. There's going to be more people, getting into that. And, so you got to, the more people get into something, the more strategic and, excellent you have to be, at it. So if you're not getting what you want, you have to learn to speak up for yourself, even at your job. You got to be your own advocate. You got to make some noise. You got to ruffle some feathers. You got to do some of the extra things and stand out in your own way. Get that attention. Don't be afraid in putting yourself out there. Don't be afraid of not being humble, because the people who get what they want are the ones that know how to get attention. They know how to market themselves. They know how to promote themselves. We see it with rappers, other music artists. We see it with athletes, the branding, how they style themselves, how the clothes they wear, their hairstyles, everything from, how they post on social media, Cam Newton, a former football player, on his Instagram, he uses a different type keyboard to where the letters, the words, the letters come up different, and it's annoying to some people because we're not used to seeing it. But, and a lot of his posts, the last time I looked, are in black and white. He doesn't post too much color, have color to his posts. So that's, a part of his vibe and his branding, his imaging, so you got to do something different and to stand out in this world, with whatever it is that you do. This is for, my introvert people, don't be afraid, because everybody else is, and that's just how the world works. It just doesn't honor the quiet. It doesn't honor the meek. It doesn't honor the humble. So you're going to have to get out here and get to it a little bit, get a little louder, get a little bit more aggressive, and stand out. And that would stand out in your own right, because this is an extroverted society. And for, myself and my fellow introverts, it's easy to sit back and think, dang, why ain't I getting that? Why am I not getting that opportunity? Well, how come this person don't know this, and how come that? We got to speak up. When it's time to speak up, we got to be strategic, and don't be afraid to, when it's time, just like they said, learn how to be an extrovert, and then you could go back to being an introvert. So I'm learning that and trying to get better with it as I go along too. just, a little something I want to pass along and help us all, as introverts, be successful and be better at maneuvering in this world. See y'all next time.